How you guys doing? This is like this was home for us for a really long time.
Don't tell the stories yet. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
But I just want to tell you, it's great to have you in our home.
Hey folks, before we get started, we wanted to we're going to be recording all of this for posterity and posterior and whatever other reasons, but we wanted to get just a real quick applause track. So at the count of three, give us a little bit of applause. So
Count of three.
Count of three. 1, 2, 3. Andrew, you want to get one more?
We're good.
You like that?
Y'all nailed it.
All right.
First take, nice.
Then I think we're really officially ready to begin. Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the world-famous Station Inn, Nashville, Tennessee. And welcome to the infamous Stringdusters 2020 album release party. My name is Nedley Barecki. I will be your host for this Q&A session. You might know me as the guy on Sirius XM's Bluegrass Junction, where I host a Derailed and More Banjo Sunday. You might know me also as a banjo player, which is actually where my story with these guys got started. Jeremy Garrett and I both moved to Nashville at about the same time. We ended up playing music together with Chris Jones and the Night Drivers. And my memory of the start of this band goes back to an IBMA World of Bluegrass when it was going on back in Louisville, Kentucky. And I remember Jeremy coming back and saying, "Hey, have you heard of this banjo player that went to Berkeley? I've been jamming with this guy." And of course, my first thought was, they're letting banjo players in Berkeley? It turns out not really was sort of the answer. But ever since that time, you would find some combination of these guys, 2 or 3 of them together, or maybe the whole bunch, or just playing on this stage with almost anybody, going out on tour, subbing in with different bands, and all the while secretly in their hidden lair on a desert island somewhere, working on their world domination plans and coming up with new material to become the infamous Stringdusters. And so I want to find out, I get to ask the first question, so I'm going to direct this one to Jeremy and ask first of all, does that all sound accurate to you? And take it from there, what was the next thing that happened after you told me about this banjo player that went to Berkeley?
Well, that sounds very accurate, all the things that you said, and thank you for that, Ned. Ned and I have been friends for sure for a really long time, and I learned a lot.
Over 20 years?
Over 20 years. And I learned a lot traveling up and down the road from him. And in fact, I'm pretty sure he's the only guy that ever substituted in this group on banjo.
Right here.
I think that's right here.
I got to play 2 gigs with you guys on this very stage.
Yeah.
Thank you for whatever you were doing that week.
That's right.
So, you know, we were young and could afford to take a huge risk. And we were stoked, to kind of run into each other. Some of us had been in bands together before, and we were like sidemen, and we kind of saw the end game on that, as far as what you can do, as far as the progression of how you can go in your career as a sideman. We were like, let's do our own thing. And it's a lot easier said than done. But when you're young and kind of, don't care and you just want to make art, then you can take a risk like that, perhaps. And it took us a while to get this, formulation all together and solid. But that has served us very well, just kind of following the art at first, which was, for me, was the main thing. It was a way to try to get out my songs, but also, as an entrepreneurial, spirited dude, I wanted to have something that was my own business and be a part of that with these guys. And so that was a cool thing that kind of came out of that IBMA jam. I'll never forget, I played Pandolfi's. We were just talking about this the other day. The Handoff was the record. And he gave that to me at IBMA, and I put it in my truck and made my dad listen to it all the way home from Louisville to Nashville. It was sick, yeah.
I think you made me listen to it a few times too on the road back then, but I'm not complaining. So we have an audience mic that was going to get passed around here. Do we know where that is, guys?
Right here.
Hello.
There it is.
Ah, it's back in the back. So the rest of the show is going to be devoted to you guys. You get to ask the questions. So let's get personal. Let's find out. Let's find out what the freshest tattoo on stage is.
Is there someone else that you can hand it to?
Someone else, please. Pass along.
She actually doesn't need the microphone. Well, you might as well go ahead and start, Georgia.
Yeah.
All right. For the record, please state your name, social security number. No.
I mean, we've learned these things are important.
It's not about shoe size. Well, it might be. This is a question. I want to know the real story behind the nicknames Krusty and PayPal. Because even though we've been around a long time, we don't know the true story. I want to know the dirt.
Well, mine is a little bit more explainable. That would probably make more sense. Yeah, and that is very simple. My last name is Falco. There was a television show at one point. Well, some people would call me Falcon. And then there was a television show called Falcon Crest, and then Crest. So that's kind of how that.
Well, then you gotta put an E at the end of any kind of nickname.
Right,
To
so then it
really
becomes Cresty.
Make it a little
Right, that's right.
less awesome.
It's like just gotta make it a little less cool.
Yeah. Because a
Put an
nickname
E
isn't
at the
really
end.
supposed to like compliment somebody.
Right,
It's
so-
supposed to kind of be a little bit of a jab.
PayPal is a different story.
Yeah. I thought I knew the answer to this, but as I've gotten older, it's kind of gotten foggier.
Well, you know, that's funny because your age is actually it points toward the origin of the nickname as I remember it.
Please. Oh yes.
While not the oldest member of the band,
Well, he was then.
you did early on.
He was at that time that this nickname was.
Was it really? Did it really go back that far?
Yes. Yeah.
Because I think he. I guess you were the oldest member of the band at the time. I didn't think you were, but you were. And you also
Bobby was
exhibited
older.
some. You had some like early onset middle-aged tendencies.
No, no. That's not. I think it was one night I didn't go out and party.
That's all it takes.
Oh, man,
That's all it takes.
Literally one night on probably like a 6-week tour, I was like, I think I'm gonna go to bed tonight, guys.
The number
And
one.
they called me. Then all right, Papaw.
Well, yeah, all right, Papa.
And they called me Papaw because I went to bed one night. And somehow Papaw got to PayPal. I'm not totally sure how.
The number one rule of a group dynamic is never leave the group. Because as soon as you leave the room, you get dust.
And even before you leave the room, apparently. On your way out, it's like.
I thought it came in later than that, but I guess that might have been a really early nickname.
I think it was pretty early. You know, Critter had some of my favorite. He had cooler nicknames for me. He used to, because there was a song called PayPal's Blues that I did on a record, and so then Critter started calling me Blues, which I always thought was awesome, but somehow it did not stick with you
That's
guys.
because you let us know that you thought it was awesome.
Oh, that's
That was the
Yeah.
fatal mistake there.
right.
Should have been like, man, I hate blues. Stop calling me that.
Yeah,
To this day.
exactly right. I should have. I was still learning.
Nicknames turn heads for all different reasons, but when you're out there in the wild and you call them PayPal, people look at you like, what, like payment service?
Yeah.
And the answer there is yes.
Well, I gotta say, when it comes to the nicknames, we have to hand it to Critter. His nickname was handed to him by.
Tony Rice.
I mean, if Tony Rice lays a handle on you, you gotta live with it. It's gonna be there for the rest of your life. I do remember though when Jeremy and I were playing together, his dad was also in the band, and we used to call your dad Cheetah. And nobody ever explained to me why that was either, and I don't know if I want to know, but I do remember saying something to him one time, and I was like, yeah, all those guys on the Dusters, they've all given each other these weird nicknames. You got Panda and Critter and you know, all this. I said, what do you think about that, Cheetah? And he looks at me and he goes, Nedski, I don't know what this world's coming to. All right, do we have another question from the crowd? Oh, we have one right up front here, and I might be able to just, if this isn't going to squeal, I might be able to just hand you this mic.
For posterity, can you please give us the origin of your band name?
The band name comes from Critter's dad, Ben Eldridge. And when we were getting going in the early years, we had some very seminal times in Fredericksburg, staying at Critter and Ben's house. For those of you who don't know, Ben Eldridge, legendary banjo player from the Celtic scene. And he was such a great friend and mentor to us, and we would stay in Fredericksburg and drive to gigs and drive back, and we needed a name, and Ben came up with Stringdusters, which saved us from the many really crappy names that we were considering. So thank you, Ben Eldridge.
Like what?
Yeah, let's say a few. I remember Wheelhouse is one of them.
Wheelhouse was taken, and when we signed our deal with Sugar Hill, you need to sign a copyright, so you need a name that wasn't taken. So additional piece of trivia there, that's where the Infamous came from, because Stringdusters was taken. But we have this sheet of band names, and Water Strider,
Please stop.
Pick House.
Please stop.
Pick House. Actually, dude, Pick House is tight.
Pick House.
Pick House is tight. But we were
do this.
broken. I can't even say it. Broken Drought.
Don't do this.
And,
Noam's idea.
and you know
remember
who?
that.
You know where we got Broken Drought was from Noam. I was in your living room, in Falco's living room, and Noam. They were roommates, and Noam. He was like looking through a book or something, and he just like.
That was sabotage.
Yeah, and he was like, how about Broken Drought? And we were really desperate, I remember. So we were like, yeah, Broken Drought.
Two downer words,
Yeah.
bad on their own, worse together.
Pick House is cool though. Pick House is pretty stony
Pick
guy
House is
stuff.
stony, I like that.
Pick House. Hey, man. I like it.
So I have another question, and this goes back to the early days of the band, because I remember once you all did sort of coalesce into a unit, you guys hit the road and never came back. How many gigs a year were you doing those first couple of years? Because I don't remember seeing you much. When you left.
We do, like 6 weeks out. I remember, like there were some. Every summer we would be gone for like 6 weeks straight, almost. I think.
In a van, 10
Yeah.
dudes.
Yeah.
In a van.
Yeah.
And we make $50.
Yeah.
Because I know you were a brand new band, you were trying to make a name for yourself, you were trying to get started, and so you guys were playing all kinds of gigs. Sometimes I'd hear about you playing, cool festivals, but then, I knew you were out for that amount of time, and I thought there aren't that many cool festivals. So
No, we would do anything. I mean, there was a place in Colorado called Steve's Guitars, I think, right? Steve's? Is that what it was?
We would do anything.
Yeah, it was a guitar. It was a little guitar shop, and they were like, you can play it in the corner.
You remember when the guitar fell off the wall?
Yes.
This poor guy, Steve, he had heart of gold, but he had just kind of like wired a bunch of instruments up, and we were rocking out so hard one night, a guitar fell off the wall
The band-
from like 12 feet and landed.
Hit a guy.
I mean, it's funny now, but
Remember one of our very first promotional things we did was for Cheerwine?
you guys at that
Do you
Walmart?
guys know Cheerwine? Cheerwine, it's a soda that you only get like down here
Stop.
in the
It's in
South.
North Carolina,
And we
yeah.
played, I remember we like, it was,
We were at
I think it was in a
that.
Walmart.
Walmart.
And they had like a big Cheerwine display. And what did we do?
Well, I do know this. We'll do anything twice. So Ivory, if you want to line up that second crack at Cheerwine, we're down.
I think we
buddy.
played.
We're ready.
I think we played in front of a Cheerwine display in a Walmart.
You don't know unless you go, and you don't know. Sometimes you think it's going to be a great show. Sometimes you book a venue called Staccato.
Steak taco.
Steak Taco, and you show up and they don't know you're coming. They don't know why you're there. They don't want you there. They still allow you to set up your shit, and at the end of the day, they send you home with no money.
No, So that was the gig where we went on stage. We never talked to anybody in the venue. We went onto the stage, played the gig
In two rows, by the way,
Yeah,
because it was
it was
too narrow to have 6 of us by each other, so we played in two formation.
Right, like 3 and 3, and then we left and didn't get paid. Never spoke to one single person in the venue. Just like I don't even think if they knew who we were. We just
They still don't. That was my first night of ever having Ethiopian food as well.
oh
You hated that.
It's a whole nother
Oh, you hated that.
interesting experience.
yeah. It took a minute for
I
Jeremy.
love Ethiopian food now, but I was not aware of what that was.
That country boy was not used to eating
I
with
was
his hands.
ready for some Mickey D's about that time.
A lot of stories, but I will say one fun thing about the Station Inn with all that time is I was just telling this to someone backstage is we would be gone for 6 weeks. We would come back to Nashville. The van would drop us, everyone off and be like, all right, not going to see you guys till the next. I don't want to even see you guys. Later on that night, I'd walk in the Station Inn, and here they all are. And here we are behind
Right
the
over
bar, having
Right in that
beers,
corner.
and hanging out, and high-fiving, and
Listening to some epic music.
listening to some amazing bluegrass. So Station Inn played a really huge part in the formation of the band, and was the, I don't want to jump the story too much, but it was I think our first gig was here. You said that earlier, I think. Our very first gig we ever did as a band was right here, so I believe.
Real show, anyways.
Yeah.
Paid her.
The first show that the venue knew that the band was coming.
Next question.
Next question. Who else has a great question for the Dusters?
It can even be just an okay question.
I don't need a mic. What's your favorite venue to play in acoustically, like the sound wise? Do you have a particular one that you like to go back to?
Just for sound?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Station Inn.
Yeah, this one sounds really good.
Yeah.
I was noticing that it sounds amazing in here, so yeah.
It all sounds the same to us now because we use these in-ear monitors, so it's very consistent, and it might change a little bit from night to night, but those particular things we don't notice as much. But that's a question for you actually.
Yeah, where do you like to hear the band? That's fair.
So that actually brings up a question that I was going to ask, which there were it's a two-part question, and one of them you may have already answered, is I know as a band you'll go out and you're trying to find your sound, but you're also trying to find your audience. So I was wondering, in those early days, in those early years of the band, where was one of the first places that you got out and played to people and you thought, hey, these are our people. Our people are starting to show up. This is our audience. And the follow-up is, where was the place that you played where this is not our audience? Which might be that place where nobody knew you were coming.
I want that one.
So where did you find your audience for the first time and you thought, these are our people?
Yeah, that's a good question. And for us, I think we all would agree some of that early Colorado trip was formative for us because we were coming from the bluegrass world. And so we were playing sort of in the environment that was handed to us, not that we decided we wanted to do. And you have to remember 20 years ago, there wasn't nearly as much going on with bluegrass music. So we didn't really think twice about it at first. We were just happy to have some gigs where the venue knew we were actually coming and would pay us at the end of the night. But then we went to Colorado and we got our first glimpse of the music can come alive with the audience as a big part of the performance. And now we've really come full circle, and I think that we enjoy a lot of environments. And I also just want to say how great it is to see all of you guys here, our people now, after all these years, because it really means the absolute world to us that you guys are here tonight and that you're here at shows and that we see you night after night, and we notice that. And there are people in here who I'm well acquainted with and I know, and there are some who I'm not. But from the bottom of our hearts, we thank you guys so very much.
We had a lot of people to look up to for sure. Yonder Mountain String Band was doing their thing, String Cheese Incident. There was definitely some examples that we had. But in the more traditional bluegrass world, there wasn't as many people stepping out into that world. And so I feel like, you know, in a way, we played a big hand in that, kind of bringing the music into that realm. And, you know, I'm not ashamed to say it. Like, we definitely played our part in that. And, you know, I feel like now it's almost common, because you see Billy Strings in the different bands, that's just commonplace. But at the time, nobody was jamming. And, you know, so there was some basic stuff happening, definitely some bands that have paved the way, like I said, you know, Newgrass Revival and Bailiff Lake, and all those guys were doing their jamming thing, but it's a little different when you kind of start doing the jammy music where you're singing and you're trying to create, you know, original, you know, songs that kind of hit. So it was just kind of a new frontier, and we were just doing it because we loved to do it. Like, it wasn't a plan of ours or anything. It was just sort of our artistic, you know, endeavor to try to do something different and cool and follow our heart, you know.
And playing those shows in Colorado helped us figure out who we would become. And you don't realize it, but there are so many things top of mind when you're starting a band, a business all at one time. Like, you're just trying to live another day. You don't have all this free time to sit down and figure out exactly how you want this to look. It takes some time, but that really helped us figure out, oh, our music could be like this, and we could stretch out. We could have fans who would stand and dance. Like I said, now we've really come full circle, and we love playing in a lot of environments, but that was really formative for us, those early trips to Colorado, crowds that would participate in the show, that would bring the energy, and they would bring the energy, and we would bring the energy, and we'd come off stage, and we'd download from the performance, and we'd be like, oh my God, you can do that, you know, you can open up a section of a song, and the energy that it brings, those are the memorable moments that you're trying to create as a performer. And we didn't figure that out on our own, we figured that out with your guys' help. Woo! And now Travis is going to tell you about the worst gig ever, or something.
Come on, Travis. We've been waiting for you.
Well, it's funny. Ned's like, you know, you asked like, when was there an audience that like wasn't your people? But that's the funny thing about that is that that's just like not, you know, that whole part of the whole thing is kind of out of our control. It's like there's a lot of people who aren't into it. I mean, you know, there's no, like I said, there's no accounting for taste. Although I think mine is excellent. So, you know, but I do remember there being, you know, one gig in particular we played in North Florida, and we went to start playing like a long instrumental. And
I'm there, baby.
Yeah, I just took you right back. You know what I'm talking about. So, you know, we're you know, it's one of these festivals where, you know, they cycle the bands through really quickly, and everyone's just playing bluegrass, you know, and everyone's there to listen to bluegrass under sort of like a shed. And very sort of low-key kind of back, kind of down home kind of situation. And we get up there and we're playing a little bit, and things are going okay. We're playing some bluegrass songs, and they're fine. And then we started playing a long instrumental, and there was what can only be described as a traffic jam of rascal scooters trying to get out of the venue as quickly and get as far away from us as they possibly could, as quick as possible. And we're just picking, and they're like working their way out. And I think that was one of those experiences, like, you know, you don't know unless you go to that festival, and you're there, and you're like, oh my God, we're going to talk about this the rest of our lives. And at the time, it's like, oh my God, maybe we're not, like, what's going on? Now it's like one of the best stories we've got, and it's like a source of pride and something that we were, you know, riveted into our memories. I think.
Waldo, Florida.
Waldo. Yeah, the race, the rascal race, rascal lumber cars to get out of there.
Rascal exodus.
You know, music is not for everyone, but you know, I also do feel like something we're really fortunate about is that, you know, we really love our music, and it's really authentic to who we are, and we're happy to play it anywhere for anybody, and let them kind of decide what they want to do with it. You know, it's not for everyone, but we really continue to still just get such a deep charge out of just playing the music that it makes it. I could go play Waldo. I would go play Waldo, Florida.
I know
would
you
absolutely.
would. I know you would.
And I would love every minute of it, and it would be a fascinating experience. You know?
Mostly because the gig's over at 6 o'clock.
I do like an early show. I too I too have I have some early onset middle-aged tendencies myself, and I would love to be taking a nap right now.
And when those rascals back up, it sounds like feedback. It's just the beep, beep, beep.
If you're a good jam band, you start jamming along.
Start jamming along. As long as I can keep a beat, it's good. More questions from the crowd. Anybody?
Oh, come on.
All right, shoe sizes.
That's none of your
Here in the
business.
green,
Your husband already knows.
We'll
mine.
get you a microphone.
When you guys transition from one song into another, does one guy direct that? How do you give cues where you're going to switch from song A to song B seamlessly like that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I write the set list every night, send it to the guys a couple hours before the show. An hour before the show, we have a production meeting. And on the set list will be 2 types of transitions. And we'll talk about those in the production meeting. So we'll look over the set list, everyone will sort of go over the songs, and occasionally you'll get someone who says, oh, I want to swap this for that. Get the song set, and then we talk about the transitions. And that's been a really fun thing to work on and evolve as a group over the years, because again, it's the kind of thing where you don't really know what's going to happen. And the other interesting thing about that part of the show is you can't practice it. You really can't do it in isolation. It doesn't work without the information of the crowd that's right in front of you. So we have some of those transitions between songs that are more predictable, that kind of have a similar shape every night. But even recently on the last tour, we had some great moments that were totally new to us, some in transitions that are more familiar, some that are not. So the point is to be most present in that time, to be most aware of what's going on, to be listening the hardest. That's when that's really a success. You don't know necessarily how it's going to go, but then occasionally you'll have one and the shape really is happening, the energy is there, the crowd responds, and then typically that'll kind of become part of the repertoire. So we're always looking for those things, and you never know exactly where you're going to find them. But taking those chances on stage, that's what makes the show unique and different every night, for you guys and for us as well.
Yeah, and if you try to rehearse that, then what's going to happen is you might do something really cool, and then you'd be like, well, let's try to, you can't help, even if you don't say it, you can't help but try to recreate that, and then it's not really, it's like, and it's impossible to make it as good, so you just kind of know where you're coming from and know where you're going, see what happens in the middle.
Yeah, we definitely have, come up with a playbook of sorts over the years too. We have code words, type 1, type 2 jams, and different things that we kind of do some of the same things, but then we let those just be natural, we just use them as a skeleton, sort of a placeholder, if you will, for the creativity that can happen, to launch from.
So let's see, there have been, you have...
I was just going to do what you're doing.
Oh, you were just going to do what I'm doing. And ask a question?
No, I was just, my MC instincts were kicking in. I'm sorry, I did not mean to usurp your authority. I was just going to open up the floor again.
I was going to ask a question, and I know you've had a couple of personnel changes through the years, through the 20 years. You had a different banjo player for like 2 nights. But of course, when you started out, you had a mandolin player. We should all acknowledge that Jesse was here at one point. Yeah. And you had a different guitar player.
Was there?
There was a guy before you. Or he looked different anyway. So for you probably all remember, if you go back with the band that far, that Critter Eldridge was playing the guitar. And I guess Critter, made the decision to stay along with Punch Brothers because they were getting started right around the same time that you guys were. And I remember, as a fan of the band, I remember looking and thinking, who would leave the infamous Stringdusters? Why would that happen? But of course, Punch Brothers worked out okay too. But
Pretty good.
But and probably nobody was a bigger fan of that decision than maybe you. So, do you remember what you went through to audition for the band? What was going on with you at the time? And
Well, they started and they said, "Don't bring your instrument. We're going to start running." And so we had to run. No, I'm just kidding.
There'll be no running.
Bikes.
No,
Because that's an audition you would not have passed.
No.
Let's face it.
Oh no.
You wouldn't be here right now.
No, I would have ran as far the fuck away from these guys as possible, because I would have not made it. But no, it was we were all friends and we were all living in town, and I watched these guys, not only known them for a lot of years, played in bands together and stuff, but also just watching their career as they were getting this band started, and Critter was actually the first person I met before any of these guys, and so when he was leaving, and they had a lot of really good options of guitar players, living in Nashville, and I was very honored to have been asked to audition, and we played through some songs and we had a few laughs, and I was actually doing a session here in town with Ned when our HR department, Andy Hall.
Watch out.
If Andy Hall calls you, do not pick up the phone.
Unless you're not in the band yet.
Yeah, right.
Oh, good point.
Unless
Good
you're
point.
not in the band.
I hadn't thought about that.
All right, so I took the call. We were just talking about it. We were listening to a playback, and the phone rang, and it was Andy, and he's like, "Hey man, do you want to join our band?" I was like, "Fuck yeah, I do." And so
It was a no-brainer for us.
It was a no-brainer for me.
After
for
we
sure.
jammed, it was like, oh crap.
So that was really fun, and it was really special, and especially because we've done bands, all of us side guy gigs, and it's awesome, and you make new friends that way and stuff. But this was one where joining a band of people that were already your close friends was a really special thing, and so the rest is history. Here we are.
Yeah. I just want to, we're talking about the five of us. I want to make sure we acknowledge our 18-year sound engineer. Who is in our band. And did his very first gig right here at the Station Inn with us about 18 years ago. And, has been really an integral part of our sound and developing how we bring this acoustic music to you all. So, cheers, Drew, for what
A little bit of trivia. He was originally hired for $20 an hour or something to update our MySpace page.
Yeah, that is true. And
how's that coming? Is it?
Yeah, how is the MySpace page?
Obviously, it has not been updated in 18 years. No, but it was just really amazing to, he was young and he did that for us, but he was like, yeah, I do sound, and then it's a lot of people, I know I can speak for the guys too. I mean, I get asked a lot about, that sound, you get a really good acoustic guitar sound out front, and it's like, that ain't me, man, that's Drew out front, so thank you, Drew.
So in addition to the sound, I remember, I think it was at the Belcourt Theater, one of the first times I saw you guys with any kind of a light show.
Drew remember that. We jumped the shark on that one. We went from having, this kind of situation, 8 white lights shining on us, and then we hired that guy, Tony Caparelli, who now does lights for Billie Eilish, Chris Stapleton. And so we hired this guy, and And we go into the Belcourt Theater, we go from this, and it is absolute psychedelic insanity with lights.
I was at that show.
Oh my God.
That was psychedelic insanity.
And you really, we have our guy Aaron, who's not here tonight because we only have the 8 white lights here, but you really get tight with your lighting engineer and they learn the music. And this was just insanity from the drop, and it was dark and lights were freaking out and we were playing our music, and I don't know.
I think it was Andy Hall who told me at the end of that show, he said, it's something we're trying out. He said, but I don't know, man. He said, when the lights go out, it's totally dark in here and we can't see the set lists on the floor.
So the light would go down after the end of the song, and then like it'd be black, and then all of a sudden, when the lights came up, we were all just going.
Yeah.
Hey, boys.
Right. Like the lights go down, and we just freeze. And then they come up, like, okay, now I can do some stuff. We're done. But yeah, that was like one of those, he didn't know the music, so it was just like all buttons from the just go. Strobes, go.
But, he was a talent, obviously very
He's
talented.
very
and
talented.
He's doing major stuff. And
I loved the enthusiasm.
Oh yeah. It was something I don't think I had ever seen at a bluegrass show.
Neither had we.
Yeah, my rascal was backing up as fast as it could.
If you had a rascal, you'd beat
That's right. Let's see. Do we have any more questions from the audience? Yes.
Probably a question for each of you. What is the band or performer that's influenced you the most throughout your life?
Hang on just a second. We are going to get you the mic. They want it, especially for the. Yeah.
Which bands or performers have influenced you the most, like throughout your life? It's probably a question for each of you, if that's okay.
I would say Bela Fleck and the Flecktones for me. And Bela Fleck got me into banjo, and that got me into bluegrass and the rest.
Jerry Garcia.
Yeah, for me it would be Tony Rice and my dad.
Yeah, Tony Rice and Todd Phillips playing on a lot of those records that those guys made.
Tony Rice, Jerry Douglas, and Ozzy Osbourne.
Anybody else? Questions, comments, concerns? Up over here.
Hey, just thank you guys for coming and doing this. My wife and I saw you guys at the Ryman back in 2006, so 20 years later for us, so thank you guys for that. But did want to ask a follow-up question to that, like, who are you guys pouring into? I know you have mentors. Are there people that you're mentoring, or who would you say is the next up-and-coming for the next generation?
There's this guy I've heard of, a little something about.
Stop it.
Maybe very strange.
Say it.
Seems like an up-and-comer to me.
Shadowgrass.
Yeah. Mountain Grass Unit.
Crying Uncle. There's some great young
Nashville.
bands coming up.
Yeah.
Clay Street Unit.
There's a lot out there,
Red
actually.
Strictly.
Mountain Grass Unit. We'll see.
Actually, I've chosen a path that's like anti-mentoring, where I try to get younger musicians to stop playing so they don't come and eat my lunch.
So how's that early
I'm the only
onset?
person who likes that joke. I still tell it every day.
How's that early onset middle age?
Our manager was clapping for that. He likes that.
I mean, if you help them, I once gave a band like some really good advice, and then the next time I saw them, they were like so much better, and they were very similar to us, and I was like, what am I doing? Like, they're gonna get hired. What is gonna happen to us? So,
Smokies.
no, it wasn't them. No,
Kenny Rogers.
no, that's not true. I think there are, yeah, like you said, there are all these bands that are.
Those young bands that you befriended all broke up.
I know.
No.
Well done.
They're there. Yeah, that's right. Sorry, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I am too.
There's this band Magoo that's and I have a particular affinity for their dobro player. He's a great dude, and I've been giving him some lessons, and it is really fun to see new bands coming up, being amazing, and hearing that we, have influenced them. It's really cool. I was talking about this on a podcast we did today about how you get to a point in your career where you didn't even realize you got there, but all of a sudden you're more like the elder statesman, and you've realized you've influenced like young people, and I love that, and they inspire me. Like sometimes I'll go hear the band, like, whoa, they're doing stuff I hadn't thought of or something, and so the inspiration goes both ways, So I love that about like getting a little older and seeing hearing from people, but almost more being inspired by them because they're doing stuff that like maybe we hadn't even thought of, and then that reinvigorates us, a band who's been around for quite a while.
So I saw we got one more question back here, and then we got to let you guys get ready to pick. So
thank you. I think I have the perfect last question too.
All right.
After such a storied career with all that you've accomplished, what's left on the bucket list?
Good question.
He won the question contest.
Yeah, well, shit. At this point, it's like I just want to keep making music with my brothers. It's like I'm hungry still, and we're all very hungry to like succeed but I think we just want to keep being able to do this and make art and play for the fans, and the goals are simple, just to keep having fun, and keep doing it. I mean, obviously we have a business plan and all that, but what matters most is the art and keeping this going and keeping the fun part of it and keep reinvigorating that part of it. That's what I would say.
Amen to that.
Hell yeah, Andy Hall. Good job. Thanks, team.
guys, thanks for doing this with us.
Thank you, Ned.
Congratulations on 20 years.